Hannibal, the man who defied Rome. Part 2. The Impossible War. Chapter 10. The Mountains of Death. The Alps did not welcome them. They resisted, like a living force. Cold winds howled through the mountains, cutting through armor and skin alike. Snow fell without warning, covering paths, hiding dangers beneath a white silence. The higher Hannibal's army climbed, the more the world disappeared behind them. No roads, no safety, no escape. Men began to whisper. This was madness. Even the most experienced soldiers had never seen anything like this. Narrow paths twisted along the edges of cliffs. One wrong step, and a man would vanish into the abyss below. Horses slipped, supplies were lost, and still they climbed. Chapter 11. The Price of Ambition. It was not just nature that fought them. Enemies waited above. Mountain tribes watched from the cliffs, silent, patient. Then, without warning, they attacked. Stones crashed down from above. Arrows pierced through the ranks. Chaos erupted. Men screamed. Lines broke. Some tried to fight. Others tried to run. Many fell, not by sword, but by gravity. The mountains themselves became the weapon. Every loss hurt, but Hannibal knew turning back would mean losing everything. So he pushed forward, no matter the cost. Chapter 12. The Elephants. Among the army were creatures no mountain had ever seen. War elephants. Massive, powerful, symbols of Carthage's strength. But here, they struggled. Their massive weight broke the frozen ground. Their legs slipped on ice. Their fear spread to the men. Some refused to move, others panicked, and when an elephant panicked, nothing could stop it. Still, Hannibal refused to abandon them, because they were more than weapons. They were a message, a warning to Rome. Chapter 13. The Edge of Death. Days turned into weeks. Food ran out. Men began to starve. Some froze in their sleep. Others collapsed where they stood. The army was no longer marching. It was surviving. Barely. And yet, Hannibal remained at the front, not behind, not safe, with them, sharing their suffering, watching them, pushing them, because he understood something simple. If he broke, they would all break. Chapter 14. The Descent. And then, after everything, they reached the top. For a brief moment, silence. Below them, Italy, the land of Rome. Hannibal looked at his men, what remained of them. Thousands had died. Many were wounded, exhausted, broken, but alive. And then he spoke, not of suffering, not of loss, but of victory. He told them that everything they had endured had already won them half the war, because Rome was not ready. Chapter 15. The Shock of Rome. When news reached Rome, disbelief, then fear, then panic. Hannibal was in Italy, not by sea, not expected, not prepared for. The impossible had happened. Rome mobilized immediately. Armies were sent, generals appointed. They believed one thing: this invasion would end quickly. They were wrong. Chapter 16. The First Blood. Trebia. The Roman army moved to confront Hannibal near the Trebia River, confident, strong, disciplined. Hannibal watched them, studied them, waited. He knew something they didn't. They were walking into a trap. On a freezing morning, the Romans crossed the icy river. Cold, hungry, unprepared. Hannibal's forces were ready, warm, hidden, waiting. When the battle began, it was already over. Carthaginian forces struck from all sides. Ambush, chaos, destruction. Rome suffered a crushing defeat.
Chapter 17. The Trap at Lake Trasimene.
But Hannibal was not done. He moved fast, striking where Rome least expected. At Lake Trasimene, he set one of the greatest ambushes in history. Roman forces marched along the narrow shore. Fog covered the land. Visibility was low. Silence. Too much silence. Then, Hannibal gave the signal. From the hills, from the forests, from the mist itself, his army emerged. The Romans had nowhere to run. Water on one side, the enemy on the other. It was slaughter. End of Part 2. 2 Roman armies destroyed. Fear spread across the Republic. And yet, the worst was still coming. Because Hannibal was just getting started.